ما تنزفيش يعني، حاولي انك تسكري الجو.
تمام، السيارة جاية.
الو، طوارئ الهلال الاحمر رام الله الضفه الغربيه، عمر معك، تفضل. الو، شو اسمك انت؟
أنا نجد حمادة. كنا دم أمام بيتي. ماما غيرت حالي.
مهدي، احتمال احتاج سيارة إسعاف.
عمر حبيبي، احنا مجبرين نأمن له مسلك كامل.
إذا ما فيش معها وقت.
أنت فقدت أنت معي. وعليا.
شايف هدول يا شاب؟ خسرناهم كلهم.
8 دقايق ممكن تكلفهم حياتهم إذا ما عملناش التنسيق وعمار.
They are shooting at a car with a little girl inside. Can you imagine that? So do something.
اسكتونا.
أنت في التمهيدي؟
كريدة وفضل مرافق.
هند، أنا جاي ناخدك إحنا.
كنا دم أمام بيتي. أنا بقول حجوني عايزة
البنت عم تنزف، متصابة. اعملوا شيء مشان الله.
شغليه بسرعة واكتبوا انها متصاوبة وبتنزف.
فكرة رائعة. وتنسيش تكتب لهم بالإنجليزي she's bleeding. قلب لي السي. إيش عن جد؟ تفرج هاي السوشيال ميديا. طلع شوف أطفال مشلخة مرمية على جناب الشوارع. فكرك عن جد صوت طفل صغيري خايفة راح يأثر فيهم أو يفرق على حدا؟ هي بحاجة أمبولانس.
بس لسه في فضا، لسه معنا وقت.
We are very pleased to welcome Motaz Malhees joining us now live on the Q&A. Assalamu alaikum. Good evening, Motaz.
Good evening.
Yes, we can hear you. Brilliant. Okay. I'm going to pass them up. I'm Samia, by the way. Nice to meet you. Thank you.
Nice to meet you, Samia.
I'm going to pass you over to Mo.
Salam, Motaz. How you doing?
Yo, wagwan alaikum, brother.
Good to see you, man.
Good to see you. I'm sorry for not being there. I'm supposed to be with you tonight, guys.
No, that's fine. I told everyone that you were super keen to be here, but obviously you had other events and timing-wise, it wasn't going to work out. But I'm going to start off by asking you a few questions, and then we may go to the audience. So if there's a bit of a delay in between, just bear with us as we'll be with the audience, okay?
Yeah, sure.
Rather than myself giving you an introduction, if you can kind of introduce yourself to the people and tell them a little bit about yourself and where you're from.
Hello, good evening, and thank you for everyone over there for being in the hall to watch the Voice of Hind Rajab and supporting this story. I am Motaz Malhees. I'm a Palestinian actor, was born and raised in Palestine, in Jenin City in the West Bank. I grew up in a small village next to the city, and I moved to the UK 4 years ago. So I studied at the Freedom Theatre. I ran away from high school when I was young. And I went to the Freedom Theatres to study theater and acting there. And I've been acting for 17 years. And yeah, that's basically me.
And can you tell us a bit about what inspired you to get into acting?
Well, a similar story to Hind's story, kind of. My friend, when I was little, I was like around 10, 11 years old. He got killed next to me. His name is Amir. And I couldn't do anything. I've kind of lost my tongue. I couldn't speak for a couple of months. And then I just got back to life. And I decided to make a play in a summer camp that was run by the Red Crescent that time in the early 2000s. And I made a play about him. I saw the reaction of the people of my village and how they reacted to the story. And I felt maybe that's the thing that I want to do when I grow up. And that's how it started. So I just wanted to tell the true story about my friend who got killed, shot by the Israeli army in the head with no reason. He was a child and they stole his childhood from him. Uh, and I just wanted to tell his story to the world, and that's literally how it started with me.
And moving on to the film, how did you first come about the film? Were you like sent a script, or did you kind of have auditions? How did that all come about?
No, I was on my way to Edinburgh Film Festival on the train, and I got an email from my agency, Never Name Agency, and it says there's an audition, but it's kind of improvisation. But I saw Kautar's name, and she's like in the top of the list to work with for me. Like she's like one of the people that I've been dreaming to work with her. So I've instead of going to enjoy the films in Edinburgh Film Festival, I sat down at my flat where I was staying that time, and I just worked in the audition. I applied for it. I got a recall from Kautar bin Hania, and then she explained for me what's the film will be about. I got scared that time. That time, and still also the time of the peak of the genocide, where people are literally being slaughtered on our like live on our screens. We can watch it every day, and all we doing is scrolling and watching, and we try to do whatever we can in our hand. And I was scared because I was thinking, if is it legit to do a film about the genocide while the genocide is still going? Then I've read the script and I felt like the duty toward it and the responsibility, and I was like, this must be right now. And from there it started. That literally how it started, how I got involved in it.
And I read in an article somewhere that I don't know how true it is, but I heard that Kauthar Ben Hania, the director, she didn't let you hear the audio of Hind Rajab, or something about you guys hearing it for the first time on set. Is that true?
Yeah, that's 100% true. The only record we heard from him before filming, it was the viral video that went, the viral audio that went all around the internet on the 29th of January 2024. And those 2 minutes, the only 2 minutes I know from her voice. The rest of the things I read it through the script, but we were not allowed to hear the real voice. And there was a smart choice to do by the director. She did let us hear it only on action. And I think this was one of the smartest decisions she made as a director. She wanted to take the first moment of truth of the reaction about her voice. So yeah, we heard it only on action, and seemed like literally whenever she goes action, we hear her voice. But you can't really go back home after shooting and prepare yourself the second day to what you are going to hear, other than just following the script, and you're gonna hear her voice again. But it's like it feels all the time fresh to make it more like it's happening right now.
And I mean, as you well know, it's such a difficult film to see, but it's such an important film at the same time. But like, what was the mood like on set when you're acting and you're kind of, you know, almost interacting live with Hind Rajab's voice? Like, what was the mood for you and your colleagues?
It was painful because all you can feel most of the time that you're feeling powerless. You're hearing a child 5 years old begging you to be rescued. A child calling you and telling you, like, I'm surrounded by tanks. Please come rescue me. This is just, it feels like just somebody's squeezing my heart. I felt like I'm dying while I'm on set in there. But there was also that love, and the group and the community that's inside the set made us feel like family. We were like, we do the shoot, we would cry. I had panic attacks. They would give me the break I want. It felt kind of you believe, like we believe that we can rescue her, but in the end you realize the reality, it's something else. She got killed, and there was moments where I was like literally believing that I can do something about it. uh, there was funeral vibe, it feels like this. In the same time there was lots of love and like hope. I don't know how, but that's how it felt. It was the toughest experience for me as an actor, but it's the most important experience for me as an actor too.
And I mean, I think we can all agree how amazing Motaz's performance was as Omar. So I think if we can give him a massive round of applause.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. I appreciate you all.
And I just wanted to ask you, have you ever met Omar?
Yes, I got to know him when I got the role. I went and I found him on social media, on Instagram. I sent him a message. We made a call. We had a call like for 20 minutes. Then he told me he will go just for half an hour and he'll get back to me. Then he disappeared for almost 2 days. And I felt so bad that I asked him maybe some question was like so sensitive to listen to it. And it kind of opened the wounds. But then he got back to me. He told me the whole story and he told me everything about that day. Luckily, he stayed with me online all the time on call before filming, during filming, and after filming. And we just met 2 months ago, face to face. I have him for life as a friend, and I'm so honored to portray such an amazing soul like Omar. And he's an amazing artist. He paints, and he's also a poet. And always I share with the audience that Omar, when he told me this story, like one of the things that's happened with him, he got a newborn baby during that time. And Omar told me something that stick with me forever. He said, Motaz, to the level I couldn't play or hold my son for a couple of months after this day, after the way they killed Hind and we lost her on the phone. And that's coming from a place of feeling insecure, that you can't really protect your own family. You can't do anything about this evil power.
So his own child he couldn't hold.
Yeah, he took him months till he get back to play with his own child.
And is he still with the Red Crescent?
Yes, Omar is still working with the Red Crescent, still doing his job. All of them is still doing the same thing, but the only one who resigned is Mahdi, which is in the film. He mentioned that, which is based on the true story. He said, if I lose this team, I'm gone, I'm leaving. And yeah.
Oh wow! And have you ever met Hind's mother?
Yeah, I met her also like 2 months ago. I met the whole family 2 months ago. Everyone was involved in this story. Bless her, without the blessings and the permit of Hind's mom, we couldn't have done this movie, just to make sure about that for the audience, because that's her family story. So we need her blessings and her permit to do it. And Kauthar did reach to her and she gave her the permit and the blessings. And I met her 2 months ago. I was talking to her brother, which is Hind's uncle, during the time of the filming and after the filming, and I'm still talking to him also. He's a good friend of mine, Wesam, Ihab, her brother. And Wesam is the mom, Hind's mom. So I met her and I saw her from far, from distance. It was in Doha, and I was so scared to go and talk to her because she lost lots of members from her family, and she's a woman, and she lost her, like, the dearest person to her daughter. So for me, all I was thinking, like, she lost her daughter, and I don't know what to do. I don't know how to talk to her. I don't know what to say. Like, who am I? Like, I don't know how to explain. I don't know how to open a conversation. And I just said to myself, just go and say hello, and things will come up. I went, we chatted. She's an amazing human being. We built a nice friendship. We were in Doha Film Festival for 10 days to get together there with the whole team. And on the third day, I could see her all the time, like having big smile on her face. It's like she's a light. That's the light is coming out of her face, and she's full of hope. And I went to ask her, like, how can you be that hopeful, and how can you have this big smile on your face? And she told me recently I started to smile again. I was not smiling at all. But I had a dream that made me just get back to life and smile and be hopeful. And she told me, I was like, what's the dream is? She told me I saw Hind in the dream. And she came to me, and I remember all the time when she were alive that I used to love to pinch and her cheeks. And Hind came to me in the dream, and I was crying. And I told her, like, Mom, why are you crying? Every time I do see you crying, it makes me sad. I just want you to smile. It makes me feel happy. And here is my cheeks. Just pinch them as much as you want. And Wesam responded to her and told her, like, who are those kids playing with you? Is it Layan, your cousin? She said, no, Layan is playing with her friends. I'm here with my friends and I'm happy. Please keep smiling, Mom. It makes me feel good. So hearing that story, that's kind of draw a smile in my body, and in the same time, it drew another tear on my eyes. I don't know how, I didn't respond. I just went on silent, and I was like, if she can be that hopeful in humanity, then I should be too.
Hello, first of all, again, congratulations on such a brilliant movie. I mean, difficult movie, but it's a milestone movie. You talk about hope, and Hind Rajab film has been selected for Oscars. There's a nomination for it, and also you have Brad Pitt, Jack Phoenix, big name in Hollywood being sponsors. So do you think there is a change in the tide with this movie?
Like, just to clarify something about the EPs, like Brad Pitt, Joaquin Phoenix, Rory Mara, Jonathan Glazer, they are not sponsors, they are EPs. So they joined us after they saw the movie, before it got released in Venice Film Festival, and they were like, we need to be part of this, we need to back you up, we need to push this like trolley, we want to be your backbone in this. And when the production reached out to them, they thought that maybe one or two with these big names, but they will join us. But surprisingly, that's every one of them said yes. Because I believe it's such an important and strong story. Like, I myself, as an audience, not as an actor, I see films like Hind's film every like 5-10 years maybe, that's with this kind of powerful story. And that tide is shifting because like everything is exposed. There's nothing to hide anymore. Like, you can see it, I can see it. All of us have access to it. We have social media, and it's the only only thing that's, when it comes to media, is the power we have through our platforms in social media, or through a film, or through a book, or through a theater play, or through a song sometimes, poetry. That's the only things that we can tell the people around the world about us. I believe that like there is lots of people are shifting because like they can't like deny it. They see it, and people are really in the world are angry, and they don't want to see this anymore. They're done with this, and there's more and more people are every day joining from the artist fields, and they are doing things. Each one of us is doing something, and like you, also the audience, each one of you can do something. Like, never underestimate what you can do, even if it's a tiny small thing. Just keep doing what you're doing. You can do a lot. This movie is still running in the cinema, and most of the benefits and the money going toward the Red Crescent. And what's more important also, like this story will be told, like you got friends and you got neighbors and you got colleagues and you got family. You can tell them to go watch it in the cinema. Instead of running there, go fill a hall, take people to watch it so they can see what's going on in Palestine. And remember one thing, that Hind's story is one of thousands of stories in Palestine.
And we've got another question at the back.
Assalamu alaikum. I think you've answered my question, but what I wanted to say was, firstly, I think we all cried with you and the whole team. It felt so real. I think at one point, I definitely felt like there's hope and you're going to save Hind, but obviously that was, far from reality. I think one thing I just wanted to ask was if there was one positive message, because right now we're all feeling very crushed and defeated. I definitely am. If there was one positive message that you want to give us all after watching this film, what would that be as a key takeaway?
Never give up on what you're doing, guys. People in Palestine are not giving up, so we are like, my entire family is back home in Palestine. And if they still having hope, we all need to have hope, and we need to keep this fight, and we need to do things. We need to advocate. We need to keep going. That doesn't mean like only through the 2 years we need just to talk about Palestine. People are getting killed every day in Palestine. People getting arrested every day in Palestine. So silent is the worst thing we can do. Just keep vocal, keep talking. Trust me, if the Palestinians tomorrow are free, you will see them also advocating and talking about other people who are oppressed in the world.
Assalamu alaikum, brother. First of all, thank you, because I think this film is really vital it's opened a window for many people that may not have seen or deliberately didn't want to see what's happening. And by putting it into film, it goes to a different audience, to activists and others who know. So thank you very much for that. What I wanted to know from you, brother, is what does a day in the life look like for you? Because you're having to experience the genocide in a different way to the rest of us and different way to activists. You have family there. I also communicate with people in Palestine, and they're just very hopeful and positive people. So what kind of thing do you use as your daily therapy to get you through each day?
I read, I listen, I talk to people. I keep in touch with my friends and family back home, and I don't sit at home and I just sit in the corner. I start crying. I sometimes cry. I'm a human, but I don't spend just to let this depression and this negativity to take over me, because if it takes over me, then I can't keep up my fight. So every time I see a child in my country through a video or through a call smiling, it makes me feel like I want to keep doing what I'm doing. And remember also, I'm telling you, like I feel privileged now because I live in the UK. I've been here for 4 years, so there is nothing to complain about. I just keep up the fight, and I carry on as much as I can, and I hope I will never stop till I see everyone in this world is free. I'm not doing this only for Palestinians. I'm doing it for all the humanity, because I care, because there's too many bad people in this world, and there is lots of good people, and I want to be part of the good, and that's it. Like I keep going, and I just run and keep in the fight. That's. We all need therapies. Trust me, sister. We all do need therapy, but also there is always a way to keep up. Reading, advocating, keep interacting with the people around you, with the good people. We need more good people in this world. And it's scary. We are living in a scary world, but I believe that the next generation will change all of that. I can see that. I can feel that in my bones.
Hiya. Congratulations on the Oscar nomination.
Thank you.
I was just curious, after No Other Land won Best International Documentary last year and the nomination this year, how do you think the response from the international community has changed and will continue to change with their attitudes to the conflict in Palestine?
It's part of the change. Everything we're doing is just part of the change. It's not the full change. And there's different fields where every one of us as a human, we push toward it. And yes, No Other Lands is got the Oscar, but that didn't protect also the people over there. So we need more advocating. We need more teaching to the world to let them see what's going on, because trust me, there is nothing more powerful than the street. That street, or the people, are the most powerful thing in this world. And maybe some people, they don't believe in that, but trust me, through history, you can read and you can see that people, when they got united, there's nothing can stop them. And I hope this will put more pressure on the world, and the people can put more pressure on their governments around the world to do something, because doing nothing is a big problem. Just watching it, and many countries still all around the world, they still, especially in Europe, they're still exchanging weapons with Israel. And history will have no mercy on anyone who did this. We are in a time where all of us can write and read and advocate. America is one of the major places on earth that's fund Israel with weapons and guns and rockets and all this mission, all these kind of weapons can destroy a whole nation. So our hope is in the next generation, to be witness for these kind of stories, so they would do something about it. So that's where we are hanging our hopes, and we are hoping that will happen. Doesn't mean this movie will free Palestine tomorrow, but it's part of a process, part of what's going on.
Hi, Motaz. I want to touch on a few things. I'm Samia Khalaf al-Yafi. My father was born in Jaffa in 1940. I really loved what you said there about having been to the Freedom Theatre in Jenin. A couple of years ago, I was part of a rehearsed reading of The Revolution's Promise about the Freedom Theatre, and one of the things that really stuck with me was the director who was assassinated in 2011, Juliano Khamis. He said, the third Intifada will be a cultural Intifada. And I've seen that culture, film, art rising, and I've seen that has the power to reach out. So it's really important that you guys, you actors, film people, keep doing these things, because you're reaching people beyond those of us who are actively responding to the situation with the humanity that we have. Another thing my father said, which I pass on a lot and I pass to you, is hold, don't carry. We hold space, and we hold the light, and we hold the humanity line. And I just wanted to also say, Hind's mother and the dream that she had, I had very similar dreams with my 3-day-old daughter many, many years ago, who came to me several times to let me know how happy she was up there. And I think we should all take a moment to appreciate the eternal life that we have coming to us, because there is so much love and beauty ahead. This is temporary, this existence is temporary, it's very, very short. We are spirits in a material world. So don't be afraid of the inevitable. They are having such a good time on the other side, okay? And they want us to feel that light and that joy, and I think that's really, really powerful. I'm really glad that you shared that from Hind's mother. And that is really all I wanted to say, other than thank you all so very, very much for what you've done for all of us, for humanity.
Thank you so much.
All right, thank you.
Palestine! Palestine! Palestine!
Motaz, it's a shame you couldn't be here, but I think we're all delighted that you joined us on the Zoom call. Massive thank you for your time, and Motaz.
Thank you so much, brother. Thank you. Appreciate you. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. And have a good night, and please don't let your voice stop in here. Take it all around the city. People want to see this play. Thank you. Thank you so much. Have a good night.
This looks as if it's our biggest film screening yet, so thank you all very, very much for turning up in huge numbers. We would also like to say thank you so much to the kind donations of food from Taste of Palestine. Do go and visit them. They are in Rose Hill. Give them a clap. Thank you very much for the donations. And also to Lahore Spices in Sutton, also do frequent these people's businesses. We would also like to thank all of our volunteers so far as well for the cakes and manning the food and everything else. Tonight we are raising money for the Reed Foundation UK. They do a lot of work in Gaza. They do a lot of work for children in Gaza. So your donations, your ticket money, food, the merch, everything, 100% of your donations is going to Reed Foundation, because we've had some kind and generous sponsors covering all of our costs. So thank you to everybody. The last time we raised money for Reed Foundation, we screened a film called The Mauritanian. We raised £25,000 that night. Yes, woo, so well done all of you. I don't know if we're going to get close to that amount, but do be generous. And we appreciate it.
It's a very hard movie to watch. All I will say that our suffering is nothing in comparison to Hind Rajab's mother and all the other mothers out there in Gaza who are suffering. Hind is just one girl whose story we know about. I can't imagine how many other children out there who we do not know about. I'm going to hand over to Shaykh Ziyad now, who is just going to give a few words. Jazakallah. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum, in the name of God, most kind and most merciful. To begin, I don't think that anyone watches a story like this and remains unchanged. And I do not think there are words that can truly carry what our hearts are feeling right now. What we have just witnessed over the past hour or so is not just tragedy, but it is a rupture of moral order. A child, an innocent child, killed unjustly, violently, with no care. We should never allow stories like this to be explained away, to be reasoned with, or to be absorbed into the background noise of the world. So I want to take a moment right now to honor this child, to honor the family of this child, and to honor the memory of all of the martyrs of Gaza. Not just as numbers, not just as statistics, but real people, just like me and you, whose lives should have been protected. My dear friends, one of the quiet dangers of genocide is not just the violence, but something far more important and for us to be aware of is the danger of how genocide trains the world to accept that which should have never been acceptable to begin with. However, films like this and moments like this refuse that. And sitting here today, allowing this film to deeply disturb us is certainly an act of moral courage. I speak tonight as a Muslim scholar, but I think what I am about to say applies to all of us equally. When God says in the Holy Quran that whoever kills one soul unjustly, it is as if they have killed all of mankind. And whoever saves one soul, it is as if they have saved all of mankind. And the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, also said that the killing of one innocent person is more grievous in the sight of Almighty God than the destruction of the whole world. Think about what that means. Just one person, the unjust killing of one person is greater in the sight of God than the destruction of the whole world. So can you imagine an innocent, sweet, beautiful child like Hind Rajab? My dear friend, in the Quran, God also says to us that we are His representatives upon the earth. Which means we are not just here as spectators. We are representatives of the most merciful. We are representatives of the most just. And it is our responsibility to be advocates for truth and justice upon this earth. This is our responsibility as God's representative. And similarly, history also teaches us an uncomfortable fact, that genocides don't only require perpetrators. They don't only require murderous maniacs, but genocides also require people who are silent, people who refuse to speak, people who normalize, and people who accept language that dehumanizes. So the question this moment here asks from each and every one of us is not how this movie made us feel, but the question we need to ask ourselves is, what does this movie now require from us? So don't stop here. Don't let this be a moment that passes, and don't let this child become just a memory. Refuse the language that strips people of their humanity. Refuse the narratives that make children expendable. Refuse the comfort of forgetting. And remember that remembrance, truthfully, is resisting erasure. So to conclude, my dear friends, don't stop. Continue whatever you are doing. Boycott, BDS, lobby your politicians, lobby your MPs. Continue sharing on social media. Continue donating. Continue speaking to your friends and your colleagues. Do whatever is within your capacity and capability. Fulfill your moral responsibility, the purpose why you are here upon this earth. And when we leave this hall today, may we leave here more awake and not more numb. And may we carry the weight of what we have taken upon our shoulders today as a responsibility and not despair. Thank you all for your time.
That's the third time I've watched the film, and it doesn't get easier any time I've seen it. And even before we've all seen this film, we know the story of Hind Rajab. We know what happened to her. We know how she was killed and so on. I don't know if any of you felt this, but I was almost kind of like rooting for them to save her through the film, even though I inevitably knew the disastrous and tragic end of the actual story. So, but I think speaking to Motaz Malhees and speaking to a lot of Palestinians actually, the one thing that kind of sticks with me is that through all the tragedy, through all their stories, through all the kind of devastation, they're always very optimistic. They're unbelievably optimistic. Everything kind of, even like speaking to, I've spoken to Motaz on a good few occasions. I've hosted a few events where he's done Q&As and so on. And like, even when I've asked him about like some of his most harrowing experiences growing up in Gaza, in Palestine, he's always kind of motivated and for change, and everything ends on a positive note. Everything ends with hope, and everything ends with this endless optimism that I don't know where they get it from. And I feel like this is the kind of the optimistic side of this event. After seeing such a harrowing film, this is the side where we can actually do something about it, where we can actually, as Dr. Kashif said, you know, Hind Rajab is one story of thousands that haven't been told. But at the same time, there's tens of thousands of children in Gaza, on the ground, in Palestine, that are alive and well, and they're fighting to stay alive. They're fighting for their right to live, and we've got an opportunity now to try and help them in their circumstances. Our charity sponsor today is a charity called Reed Foundation, who I know many of you know of. They do all of the work that regular charities do in terms of aid work and so on, but they're very much focused on education. So they do everything from entire school builds in Kashmir to programs like School on the Bus in Lebanon, and they do in Gaza. For the last 2 years, they've been doing something called the temporary learning spaces. They used to actually be called temporary learning centers, but October 7th onwards, everyone knows what's happened with Gaza. They've completely decimated the place. You know, 90% of Gaza is destroyed. What used to be learning centers are now temporary learning spaces, because what Reed do is they have a really strong network of Palestinian teachers on the ground that they've worked with for like over a decade, and these teachers scope out areas in Gaza where they think is safe to teach. So often, many of them are literally in derelict buildings, as you can see from some of the images. Some of them are buildings, some of them are in outside spaces, which are buildings that have already been destroyed. But that's the space they have to learn, to educate, and they're fighting to learn, to educate. I mean, that sums it up. That's their situation. But despite their situation, as I said, it goes back to that optimism. They still want to learn, they still want to get an education. And in these learning spaces, at the moment, Reed are teaching over 12,000 children. And they're getting an education, they're getting play, they're able to do art, they're able to, you know, we have clowns come down and entertain the children. And they're able to carry on some form of normality in their lives. And with these learning spaces, they're £15,000 for an entire learning space. And that's, I believe, as Samia put it, we raised just about £25,000 at our last event. And that covered like a learning space plus more. And if you were to donate £250, it's only £250, covers a Palestinian child for an entire year in Gaza. Now, we know the price of education here. I mean, how much is private education for your child here in the UK? Is like £20,000 now a year, right? And that's for one child. This is just £250. That's £20 a month. That's £5 a week for one child in Gaza for the entire year. So this is just a reminder that that's what we're fundraising for. We've got some volunteers here with forms and pens. If anyone wants to donate, I mean, if all of us were to just give, we've got 200 people here today. If we gave £75 each just today, that covers an entire new learning space for the children in Gaza. If everyone wants to donate £20 a month, I think we would have done just off of this event. If 20 people were to donate £20 a month, we'd have done about £50,000 just off of this event. That's over 3 learning spaces. So again, just a reminder what we're fundraising for. It's an opportunity for us to really make a difference and support the children on the ground in Gaza.
Just want to thank all our volunteers. We can't thank them above. All the volunteers, the Sutton Friends of Palestine. Are you able to come on the stage, please? All the volunteers. Guys, stay on the stage, the volunteers. Okay, so yeah, this is the team. Please, Sutton Friends of Palestine. Thank you so much. Free, free. Free, free. Free, free. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.